They may be out on the street, but things could have been worse after code enforcement condemns their building as a fire hazard with high levels of a deadly gas. The condemned building on Alter Street, our top story on News 13 at 4:30.
From the Samson Production Studios in the heart of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, it's your News 13.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Kathy Bazinski. Cold Crackers Bar and the apartments above it are empty today, condemned for a host of code violations. But as Stephanie Gorney tells us, the building housed some very dangerous conditions.
It could have been tragic. Fortunately, first responders and code officials were called in time. It began when the Hazleton Fire Department got a call that somebody thought they had carbon monoxide poisoning.
A resident that lives in a second floor apartment questioning what the signs and symptoms of carbon monoxide illness is. We got his address out of him. He wasn't going to give us his address at first. When we went there, we sent a compliment for a carbon monoxide response because of what he told me on the phone, that it could be the coal furnace and etc.
When firefighters got on scene, they quickly noticed high levels of carbon monoxide, especially around the basement area. The furnace wasn't working correctly, and there were large piles of ash around the basement floor that could have caused a devastating fire.
Furnace door is fallen off, so as the fire is burning in the furnace, all it takes is one hot ember or a hot piece of coal to jump out on the boxes, and then you have a fire in the basement.
The firefighters quickly spotted other threatening issues.
This is the type of building that I like to say, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. There's electrical issues all over the building. There's wires coming out of the sidewall, running through doors, stapled on the side of the building.
That's when code enforcement came in and condemned the building. The people who lived there spent Sunday clearing out their belongings. Investigators say one woman was taken to the hospital for symptoms that could have been carbon monoxide poisoning, but they are not sure. Stephanie Gorney, News 13, Hazleton.
One of the children injured in a horrible car crash on Route 61 in Schuylkill County yesterday morning has died. The coroner says the 6-year-old girl died at the Lehigh Valley Hospital Sunday afternoon. Investigators say that 27-year-old Victoria Place of Minersville, with 2 young children in the backseat of her car, was pulling out of a church parking lot after services when she was struck broadside by a 17-year-old boy who was driving at a high rate of speed. His name hasn't been released. He was treated for minor injuries. The mother is listed in critical condition at Lehigh Valley Hospital. The other child, a 3-year-old girl, also at the same hospital. State police say the crash investigation is continuing. We told you on Friday about a man posing as a utility worker responding to a gas leak who was let into a home and then raped a woman. So how do you stay safe in your home when someone who says they're a worker wants to come inside? Christina Papa went to the police and a local utility to find out.
You're home alone when someone you don't know comes to your door. What should you do?
Well, we recommend, first and foremost, don't let any strangers into your house at any time. If you don't know who they are, ask questions.
Officer Conti says you shouldn't trust anyone, even if they say they're a utility worker. A woman from 44 was raped inside her home earlier this year after she let a stranger into her home. This is a composite sketch of the suspect who told the victim he was a member of the gas company to get inside her house. Randy Cahalan is the manager of Hazleton Water Authority. He says people have impersonated his employees before to try and break into people's homes.
We've had people impersonating our employees also. Yes, it's very frustrating.
The Water Authority sets up appointments with their customers so folks know when an employee will stop by their home.
Now, the Hazleton City Water Authority says they do make calls at night sometimes, but their employees will always be wearing a uniform and will be driving a marked car.
We have a need at once in a while to work late at night, so but still our employees would have the authority trucks and their IDs with them.
And if that's not enough, Randy says people shouldn't be afraid to call the company to make sure that employee is supposed to be at your home.
It's always, even at night, there's a emergency number, so if they call, the on-call supervisor would be able to tell them where they're working and what area they're in.
The suspect that broke into that home in 44 is described as a white male with short hair, approximately 5'10" to 6 feet tall, 185 to 200 pounds, and in his 50s. If anyone has information, they're asked to call 44 Police. Christina Papa, News 13, Hazleton.
Utility crews getting ready for the next phase of the Broad Street Corridor project, which includes some new gas lines. UGA says that over 13,000 feet of natural gas lines will be replaced in both the Broad Street Corridor project as well as the Airport Beltway project. That's nearly 3 miles of new pipeline. The utility says the Broad Street project will feature about 1,000 feet of gas line in the 100 and 300 blocks of West Broad Street. UGI also will be replacing a natural gas regulator station at North Church and Tamarack, as well as additional gas mains on Arthur Street and Hayes Street. And coming up on News 13, plenty of snow showers, but not the big snow we could have had. Things just keep getting better from here, and we'll tell you about it in News 13 weather. But first, you can never get enough St. Patrick's Day celebrating. We'll take you to this weekend's Wearing of the Green in Schuylkill County, just ahead on News 13. Well, St. Patrick's Day may have been last weekend, but the celebration sure didn't stop there. As Stephanie Gorney found out, one small Schuylkill County town attracts thousands with its St. Patrick's Day parade.
Although St. Patrick's Day has come and gone, the Irish celebration certainly did not stop. On Saturday, Girardville held its 10th annual St. Patrick's Day parade, and thousands of people flocked to the small town to join in the festivities.
Just to come out and celebrate the St. Patrick's Day holiday and seeing all the different people, because for how little this town is, you can imagine how many people can fit into it.
This area of Schuylkill County is rich with history, and organizations from all over Pennsylvania came to this parade to be a part of that history.
About 4 years ago, the members of our band realized the meaning of this parade is more or less the Molly Maguires that are coal mining region immigrants from Ireland, and we get invited to many parades, and this was a parade that we actually sought out based on the history of it.
Greatest after parade that we've seen in a long time. We wouldn't miss this for the world. This has got history. A lot of the people in our group were union people, and the Molly Maguires are the seeds of the United Mine Workers Union.
Others love to come out and celebrate their Irish heritage with everyone who comes out for this wonderful celebration.
The people. It's one of the most crowded parades that we go. We go all over the state to parades, and this is the hometown feeling. And the people are cool. It's not like your normal parade.
Tracy and her family have been coming to the parade for the past 10 years and enjoy seeing what it has to offer.
Just every year they have something different in the parade, and it just gets bigger and bigger every year. And it's just really nice to see how all the different areas come together just for all the different parades.
Although it was a little colder than usual at this year's parade, that didn't stop the thousands of people from lining the streets and enjoying the fun. Stephanie Gorney, News 13, Girardville.
And of course, Easter is less than a week away now, which means there are plenty of events going on to celebrate this very religious season. This afternoon, kindergarten students at Holy Family Academy acted out at Living Stations of the Cross for the school as well as family members. This is the first time teachers organized a Living Stations in which the little ones could take part. Staff at the school believe that this is a great way for the students to learn about the true meaning of the Easter holiday.
We really wanted to create this depth of understanding to our students for the Easter Holy Week celebrations of the resurrection of Christ on Sunday. So we really wanted to help the students understand what the Living Stations were all about and what Christ went through and how it affects our lives.
The Living Stations of the Cross portrays the events that led up to the crucifixion of Jesus on the cross. And time now for our regional weather from the National Weather Service. Checking the radar. Yep, we got some bands of snow rotating through, but much less than was predicted. Originally calling up for up to 8 inches of snow for this region, but by this morning that was downgraded to about an inch. More accumulation the farther south you go. Our creative condition, the good news is once we get past this, things are gonna improve as we head toward the holiday. Creative condition is all about that. It's by Nicole Gomez, a second grader at West Hazleton Elementary and Middle School, who drew a beautiful sunny day, and she's outside playing some toys and getting ready to go ride her bike. Looks like fun. Now let's take a look at the News 13 weather from the National Weather Service for Greater Hazleton tonight. Snow showers likely through the evening, trailing off to showers, less than half an inch accumulation, and a low down to 25 degrees. For Tuesday, partly sunny with a high near 35, scattered evening flurries with low around 24 degrees. On Wednesday, mostly cloudy with scattered flurries, a high near 37, overnight low around 24. And on Thursday, mostly cloudy with a high all the way up to 36, a low around 25 degrees. And for Friday, partly sunny, a high all the way to 39 degrees. Moving on to Schuylkill County, tonight rain and snow showers through the evening and an accumulation of about a half an inch, low of 28 degrees. And Tuesday, partly sunny with a slight chance of flurries with a high near 40, overnight low around 26 degrees. Then moving on to Wednesday, partly sunny with a high of 41 degrees, low down to 28 degrees. Then Thursday, partly sunny with a high near 42, a low around 29 degrees. And for Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 45 degrees. Well, one man who's been donating his time to helping others for the past several years is going to finally take a bit of a break. Joseph Sarge Heights has been volunteering at the Hazleton Senior Center every Monday for about 4 hours since 2006. He's a veteran, and to help his fellow veterans as well as their families what they might need, they need help signing up for disability or just need somebody to talk to, Joseph is always there for them. He's able to do this for so long because he gets a wonderful feeling from helping out.
It's a good thing for people to help out other people. I mean, the feeling you get is so great to know you've helped somebody, no matter what it is, whether it's to help them pick something up off the floor, help them sit or walk. Very rejoicing and feel good.
Congratulations to Joseph for a good job. Although his last day as an actual volunteer was on Monday, he says he will continue to drop by and be there for those who need him. And still ahead on News 13, looks like spring sports will finally be able to take the field later this week. All the anticipated action with Fran Barletta and News 13 Sports. Then get ready for tonight's Seder and the celebration of Passover. We'll tell you all about it when News 13 continues.
I found this shirt on my front door today. Tri-Valley, Class A state champions out of Higgins, Pennsylvania. Congratulations to Tri-Valley. Welcome to Trivia Treats on this final Monday of the month. Hi, everybody. The Sweet 16 is set for Easter weekend in the NCAA. And since we are in the middle of March Madness, our first two Trivia Treats tonight are what else but NCAA basketball tournament memories. On this day in 1943, before television, exactly 70 years ago, in the first round NCAA basketball game, Dartmouth missed its first 34 field goal attempts against DePaul at Madison Square Garden. Mother of God. They were losing 21-0 before that incredible streak of errant shots ended in the 11th minute of the game. Dartmouth came back to trail by 12 at half and actually cut the lead to 4 in the second half, but DePaul prevailed 46-35. 8 years later, in 1951, still no TV coverage. Kentucky outlasted Kansas State 68-56 in Minneapolis to claim the NCAA basketball championship. It was the third title in 4 years for the Adolph Rupp coached Wildcats, having won previously in 1948 and 1949. 7-foot junior center Bill Spivey led the way with 22 points and 21 rebounds. A consensus All-American at the close of the 1950-51 season, Spivey will be accused of point shaving during the following off-season and would leave Kentucky in December of 1951. As a result of the accusations, he was barred from playing in the NBA for life. Spivey then showed up at St. Joe's Gym in Hazleton a few Sunday afternoons when he played in the Eastern Pro League in the early 50s against the Hazleton Hawks. Switching to baseball, a very sad story that happened 20 years ago in 1993. Cleveland Indian pitchers Steve Olin and Tom Cruise were killed, and Bob Ojeda was seriously injured in a boating accident on Little Lake Nellie in Clermont, Florida. Just after dark, Cruise drove their aluminum 18-foot open-air bass fishing boat into an L-shaped pier at high speed. Olin, age 27, was killed instantly. Cruise, age 31, died the next morning of a damaged lung and massive head injuries. Ojeda, age 35, also sustained head trauma and his scalp had to be surgically reattached. After months of therapy, he will pitch again in August, but his career ended shortly after. An investigation after that fatal accident showed that the driver, Cruise, blood alcohol level was above the state's legal limit. And Howard Cosell would have been 93 today. Have a great week. Till Good Friday. Stay loose.
SSPTV Sports on News 13 with Fred Barletta Jr.
Well, we've been watching and hoping that Russ Kanzler would impress the Orioles enough to make that opening day 25-man roster. But we knew with his batting average in the 260 area that maybe it would be a long shot. Well, it was indeed. Today, the Orioles announced that Kanzler will start the season at AAA Norfolk. So for the third consecutive year, the Hazleton native will start the year at AAA in the International League. And as a matter of fact, this is going to be the third year with 3 different teams. Now, Kanzler has always bounced back and shown that he had the resilience and got called up with September call-ups. Obviously, you're hoping to get called up before that. But the Orioles seem to have a bunch of people in that corner outfield and that third base slot. And so you worried about it and thought, well, he was going to be in trouble. But we'll see what happens. He'll start down at Norfolk, and that season gets started at the same time the Major League season does. And we'll see if maybe he gets a spring or a summer call-up, but that's the word. Kanzler going to Norfolk. That's where he'll start this 2013 season. Now, a little closer to home, everybody wants to start the high school season. Nothing doing. Cancellations all over the place. There you see down in the Schuylkill League, everything wiped away. You can see that the only makeup date we have is that Northwestern Lehigh Tamaqua 1 is going to be moved to next Monday. Now, softball, you had cancellations as well. That Northern Lehigh game to April 1st. That Hazleton Allentown Central Catholic game, that's going to be played on April the 3rd down at Patriots Park in Allentown. Tennis, Hazleton area Pittston off. They're going to try it on Wednesday. Volleyball will go on. It's the only game in town. Valley West, Hazleton area today down at the McGeehan Gymnasium. Spring training baseball. Well, Kanzler had a pretty good run his last show here with the Orioles. He was 1 for 2 with a double, and the Orioles won. Kanzler, as we said, there's the average of 265. Rest of the schedule, Red Sox, Orioles, Phillies, Toronto, Mets, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay today. Saturday, the Wilkes-Barre Penguins skating. Taking a look right here as they go against Norfolk. No, this isn't the Norfolk Russ Kanzler team. This is the Norfolk hockey team. And, well, we're hoping that baseball team will have the firepower the hockey team did, because the Pens have been playing real good defense as of late, but Norfolk would get the best of them. They would come up with 4 goals. And I'm going to tell you, when the Pens give up that many, that's usually trouble, because the offense has been lagging behind a little bit. It's a defense that's been crisp and sharp, but it wasn't meant to be on Saturday night. The visiting team, Norfolk, 4-1 winners over the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Penguins. They will be back in action, and we'll see what happens. They're still in 3rd place, and they've got some ground to make up against Syracuse and Binghamton, who are a little bit ahead of them. Well, if you're looking for the cure for the Monday blues, then you got to stop by Bottlenecks for the seafood jam. About delicious little neck clams served in hot, melted garlic butter, crab cakes, or even weekly pasta and seafood specials. It doesn't get any better than Bottlenecks, our sponsors right here for sports on SSPTV.
Finally, for now, what makes this night different from all other nights? Well, if you didn't know already, tonight begins Passover. Christina Papa visited with the local rabbi to find out how one synagogue will be celebrating the very special holiday.
What makes this night different from all other nights? Rabbi Michael Micklin from Agudas Israel Synagogue says tonight he will join others from the community to tell the story of a people's liberation.
We are remembering that night in Egypt, that first Passover, when we were on the cusp of freedom. And we have a book called the Haggadah, which tells the story. It literally means the telling.
Passover is one of the most celebrated Jewish holidays. Rabbi says the telling of Passover is meant to be read by the entire community, including young children.
We go around, everybody participates. So this is the only service that is described in the Bible as something that the people does. This is not for the priests.
Families will celebrate the opening of the holiday with the Passover Seder, an at-home service and special dinner where there are foods prepared to help explain the story, like a flatbread called matzah.
That is, at the same time, the bread of affliction, because that reminds us of what slaves ate, but it's also the bread of redemption, because when we fled Egypt, there was not enough time for the bread to rise, and so it was flat.
Passover has been celebrated for thousands of years. Rabbi Micklin says it's important to continue telling the story so future generations remember to be thankful for their freedom.
There are still people, actually, who are enslaved in this world, and there are certainly a lot of people who are oppressed and suffering. But we actually try to remember the bad and what it's like to go from being constricted and held back to being wide open and free.
Christina Papa, News 13, Hazleton.
And a joyous Passover to all who are celebrating tonight. That's News 13 for your Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. You can catch this newscast again with rebroadcasts throughout tonight, or just go to News 13's website any old time, SSPTV.com, where you'll always find the local and regional news you need and the community news you want. For the entire News 13 team, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kathy Bazinski. Have a great night.